What's up, guys? Today I'm just gonna do a little quick review of my PowerEdge 1850. I was actually about to put this thing back in the rack that I have here, and I figured that I haven't made a video on it yet, so it's not gonna be the best one because I'm just doing it on my floor here. But I'll just do it real quick because I thought I'd do a little review of the 1850. This server I don't know too much about because I haven't actually used it yet. I've had it for almost like 6 months now, and I still haven't used it just because I haven't gotten the hard drives for it. I just bought the caddies, and I actually just today bought the hard drives for it. So I mean, the screws are still in there and everything. I haven't ever ran it. It's this itself. I did one time throw a 1750 hard drive in there just to test that it does work, and I mean I booted it into Windows and everything, and it does work. But I haven't actually used it. I just kind of jerry-rigged a 1750 hard drive in there and ran it like that. But it is a nice server. It has, let's take a look at the front here. Again, this is just going to be like a little floor video. There's crap everywhere, guys. There's stuff everywhere, so, it's a mess tonight. I'm just moving everything into the closet. Let's start out with an optical drive. It's a, CD drive, not a DVD, so it will not read, the 4.7 gig drives, or whatever it is. It will only read the 700 megabyte CD, so that's CD, not the DVD. Two hard drives, one here, giving you the RAID option of RAID 0 or RAID 1. Does have a dedicated RAID controller. Power switch, the power button. You have your network 1 and 2 light. The VGA port. USB ports, I believe, I want to say these are USB 2.0. I think they are. But I'm not 100% sure. I think they are USB 2.0. But, because I haven't really used the server yet, I wouldn't bet money on that. The warning light for something's ever wrong with it, the usual thing. And the information light, the indicator light to show you which server this is. If you push the button, it changes the blinking rate of it and whatnot. But anyways, and then, of course, like all my PowerEdge servers, you have the mystery button down there that who knows what it does. So yeah, that'll tell you if a PSU is bad or a hard drive or whatever it may be. Then, of course, a floppy drive, which is probably useless to a lot of people, but believe it or not, I do actually use those sometimes still. To open it, there's this little screw terminal here. We just go ahead and unscrew it. It's kind of a different server to open. I don't have any other ones that open like this. It's kind of weird. Then the cover will just push back if I can do it. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, so I'll get back to you guys in just a sec here. Alright, guys, so we got the cover open. You just have to push it back, but you have to hold on to this part too because they are pretty solid. So now that we've pushed it back, and it just actually opens up just like that. Like always, I'll get a shot of the label real quick here. If you guys are interested in reading that, you can go ahead and pause the video and take a peek at that. I mean, just a quick overview: 2 processors, 3 memory banks, and it only accepts single rank memory if you're going to be using all 3 banks. If you only want to use 2 banks, you can use dual rank. But it does require single rank in this server to run all 6 sticks of RAM. Taking a quick peek at it, I mean, first thing is you only have 2 hard drives, so you can run RAID 1 or 0. So there's not too many options there, and these are SCSI hard drives, 80 pin. So really the biggest hard drives you can get for these is like 300 gigs, which is kind of a downer. And you're always going to want to run RAID 1 for redundancy. You don't want to take that risk with RAID 0, so you're not going to get a lot of disk space on these servers, but they are pretty powerful machines. 4 fans. This is actually 2 fans back to back, so you have 8 fans. This is what's cooling down the entire server. Of course, you have your PSUs, and those have the other back-to-back fans on them too, pushing air out the back. I'll get to those in a second. But it is not like the simple computer model, like the 1425. It has a lot of the cool features. You can pull the hard drives out the front, the VGA port on the front, hot swapping power supplies. We have a rack card, a Drac remote access there. It's got the dedicated RAID card here with its own dedicated RAM stick. This is the only server I've seen with that, and it's actually pretty cool. So for now, guys, I'm just running two sticks of 2 GB PC 3200R RAM. That's the kind it runs. It's the same RAM as the 1425. Dual rank on both of them. So I do want to put another set of two in here, 2 GB dual rank PC 3200R, just to speed it up a little bit to give it 8 gigs. So, like I was explaining, the Drac Card. This is the Drac Card. It's pretty big, intense Drac Card. It's actually impressive. It has its own RAM stick. If we pop it out here, I mean it's not big or anything, but you know it's got a dedicated RAM stick for the Drac Card, which you don't see too much. I'll just go ahead and we'll go ahead and actually just pop this little cover off this whole thing here. There you go. So here we have, I don't even know the size or the frequency of this. I think it's either 256 or 128 or something like that. It's actually 256. Let's see if I can zoom in on this. There we go. 256 DDR2 PC 3200R. So it is PC 3200R. So I mean it's just 256 meg, but it's still pretty, you know, pretty crazy for just a Drac card that has nothing to do with the actual unit itself, the actual PC or the server itself. This is just 100% for RAID. And considering that there's only 2 drives, that's a lot of RAID power. You know, there's not even, I don't even think there's that much in the 2950. Mine 2950 doesn't have its own dedicated stick. It's all built into the actual board, so it's got a lot under there. Here's the two processors, which I kind of skipped over. They are Intel Xeon dual core. I couldn't even begin to tell you the frequency because, like I said, I only ran this server once and I really don't know the frequency off the top of my head. So I don't know. I don't have a spec sheet or anything on this right now, but I don't know the frequency. It's gonna be 2 point something. I don't know off the top of my head, but I do know they're dual core Intel Xeons. So that's what those are. And I mean, I don't know what else there is. The Drac card, like I showed you, it's very nice. It runs smoothly. When I got it, it didn't come with a default password. That was a pain in the ass to change. I had to actually, that's why I had to run the server, because I wanted to change the password on that. And you have to have a Windows Server operating system on here. So I had to install Windows Server 2008 on here just to change the password on that. And I don't run that normally. I run Linux on these servers. So, but and then I mean that's pretty much it. There's, you know, this handle to lift up the rack card if we wanted to pop it out. Maybe we'll go ahead and do that real quick just to show you underneath the or not the rack, but the RAID card. And underneath the RAID card is all that. I mean, it's just got this big, huge cable that goes to it. Huge ass socket that goes there. That's going to be for all your data from your hard drives and stuff. Actually, I think that's what that might be. And then same thing here, just like any other server, you can pop up the back plane to the hard drives and stuff, but I'm not going to do that right now. This, I believe, looks like to me, based on its position, H bridge, or not H bridge, I say that in every damn video, North bridge, because it's, you know, next to the processors and the RAM. That's going to be, looks like a North bridge. It's got a huge ass heatsink on it. Looks like a North bridge to me. That's, I mean, pretty much it. There's a lot of other little, you know, discrete things that might be the South bridge right there, or that guy right there. But yeah, that's the inside of it. Let's actually go ahead and take a look at the back now. Kind of taking a look at the back last, just because I'm doing this video on the floor. So let's go ahead and take a peek at that right now. Alright guys, so this is the back, and I never mentioned this, but this server is by far my longest server, the deepest server. I'm not sure the dimensions off the top of my head, but it's like 20 something. It's like really long. It's longer than a 2950 by far. So I mean, a 2950 is a pretty deep server, but this is even deeper than a 2950. Another thing is all the ports and everything are kind of hiding back here, and they're really hard to get to. They're very hard to get to. There's like switches, I'll show you guys, to actually pop out your Ethernet cables. So I'm getting way down here on the floor, but you can see that. Okay, here. Let's start with the power supplies. These are, I think, 650 or 550. They're really thin. They're nice little power supplies. Hot swapping. Let's take a peek at the specs here. 550 watt. So they're 44.5 amps at 12 volts and 4.9 amps at 3.3 volts. So I do not see a 5 volt rail on here, but I would imagine there's regulators and stuff in here that would make 5 volts, I'm sure, from the 12 volts. So that's probably how it accomplishes that. So that's those PSUs. Nice little power supplies, and those pull air through. Got some really powerful fans. One thing about this server, and I will show you guys this when I start it up, is that the power supply fans are always on. They're always on. When you plug it in, there's no when you turn on the power switch, normally it turns on the server and it turns on the fans. But even if your server is powered down, these fans are always on. So the power supply fans are constantly running, no matter whether the server's on or off. They are always making noise. So it's kind of annoying, and I don't really like it. But that's just how the server is. It kind of surprised me when I got it. Let's see if I can lift this up a little bit here. Not with all the Drac Card, the RAID and all that sticking out. But anyways, all the ports, this metal piece extends above all the ports. So you have to actually get in there, and it's really hard to actually plug stuff in and unplug it. Like, it'd be impossible to plug a VGA cable in there and then get your little ass fingers in there and turn the knobs to tighten up the VGA. It's impossible. But you have VGA, serial port, like so the VGA, and then PS2 cable for mouse and keyboard. Your indicator light, I mean, it's really hard to see in here. The indicator light button, two USB 2.0 ports on the end over there. I think they're 2.0 again. Same thing there, don't take my word on it. Then the Ethernet ports. Those are way back there. They're gigabit Ethernet. Just to show you how far back they are, I mean, you can't even see them. But you can't actually get your fingers in there to release the cable. They're so deep down in there that you have these buttons to actually release the cables for you because they're so freaking far back under there. It's a pain in the ass to change any cables on this or to plug anything in because everything's just so far under there. I mean, it's like an inch or two, back there. You can't actually see any of the plugs. And I forgot to mention that there is the Drac Card over here, the Drac controller. And again, it's so deep down there. That's what the Ethernet port looks like. That you have this little switch right here to flick the little, plastic release thing on the Ethernet cable to release the cable itself. Because it's so deep down there, you need a little lever to do it for you because you can't fit your fingers in there or anything. So it really just makes it hard to access or change cables on this. If we take a peek from the top, you see that there's all this, and then the actual cable, the connectors, are back here. So, I mean, you have this much room between the back of the server and where the actual connectors are. So you have to fit your fingers that far in there to actually get to the connectors. So, I mean, you almost have to use like tools to plug in just a simple Ethernet cable. It's crazy. So, I mean, that's it for the back of the server. I'll go ahead and throw it back together real quick and we'll fire it up. And I'll show you guys what I mean about these power supplies, and we'll listen to how loud it is. I can't really show it to you guys booting up because I don't have the hard drives for it yet. And I can't really give you guys my opinion on how the server runs because I haven't really ran it yet. This is the one server I've had forever and I haven't ran it yet, but I will be running it very soon when I get my hard drives. So let's just go ahead and fire it up and listen to it real quick though. Why not, huh? Alright guys, so I plugged in the PSU here. It is just one of them plugged in. There's no need to plug both of them in right now because I'm not, actually running everything. I will just real quick. So it's got just one PSU plugged in. You hear the background noise going, that fan. Let's see if I can get a better view of this real quick here. There we go. So we have the little light on to show that it has power and whatnot. That's the fan that always runs. So no matter what, whether the server is on or not, that fan for the PSU is always running. So it kind of wastes power, it wastes heat, it wastes everything. I guess it doesn't waste heat, but it you know, it's loud and it's annoying for no reason because the server's not even running. So I don't like that. That was new for me. I've never ever seen that before on any server. But so that's what it sounds like all the time. We have the little green power button up here blinking. So let's go ahead and push it and see how loud it is and see how it sounds. So I mean, like all servers, it starts up very loud, you know, and it starts to calm down. The fan that's actually the loudest is the PSU fan back there. That's the one that just slowed down. So the actual 4 fans in here are very quiet. It's actually a very, very quiet server. Reminds me a lot of the 1425. It's a very quiet server, but that PSU fan is just really loud. It's horrible. It may run a tad bit louder because only one PSU is plugged in. That's also why we have the orange light blinking up here. Probably also because it doesn't detect any hard drives, but yeah, so I mean, usually they run a little bit faster if one PSU goes down. So, but this is the normal fan speed for it when it's running. So if you just have it idling, doing nothing, this is about how loud it is. This is what it sounds like from the front. Go ahead and take a look at the back real quick. See the back noise. A little bit louder at the back because you have the fan right back here and the heat comes out the back through here. But I mean, overall it's actually a quiet server. I would still say it's probably quieter than a 1750. 1750s are probably my loudest servers that I have, but it's still it's a pretty quiet server, not as quiet as this 1425, but for a one-use server it's not too bad in noise. But I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. That's it for the Dell PowerEdge 1850. If you guys have any more questions or anything, just go ahead and throw a comment or shoot me an inbox, and I'll go ahead and answer that. Maybe do another video on it if you guys wanted me to. So that's it for now, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and as always, guys, have a good one.